Hello everybody and welcome to the very latest CADS podcast. I've no idea what number we're on. I gave up on that stuff long ago, but we're here to talk about a couple of Spurs games, Champions League match, Premier League match. Results are okay. Things are progressing as kind of expected. But we've got some lovely gentlemen here tonight, including one new person you probably haven't seen yet, unless you are in the community of YouTubers. But we're going to go first with Austin. Hey Austin, how you doing?
I'm good, thank you, Stu. All good.
All right, excellent.
I'm feeling as
Ashley,
positive as ever.
Ashley, how you doing?
Good. We actually had the other day our first rainstorm in 6 months, which was nice to hear the rain and see the rain. But you can't blink because you'll miss it.
Yeah, not the general kind of place for stormy weather.
Except when we have fires.
Yeah, well, let's not talk about that. Hey, okay, and now we're going to move on to Nick. Hello, Nick. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good, thanks, Stu. Yeah, thanks for having me on. Yeah, I'm really
No
enjoying
problem.
Spurs.
For those of you, for those of you that don't know, Nick is our YouTuber. He's just released his own channel, and I will be linking to it above. Look up there, and also later on, he's going to be doing his own bit about the Brighton game, which we will also be talking about, and you will find it there. There we go. Perfect. All that is done. We have A joining us as well, but he's currently away. He'll be back in a minute. But we're going to get started. We got two games to talk about, and I think we should get started with the Champions League match, the one we actually won this week. Villarreal at home. How was everybody? How did everyone feel about that? What did they think of the performance, the results? A, you are here with us now, so why don't you kick us off?
Thanks, guys. I hope you're well. Yeah, we got 3 points, and that was the best part of the match. Own goal must be up there with our top scorers this season. But I think all in all, a good result. If the game was not as inspiring as we wanted, but we got the result, and I'll take that. For now, I will take that.
Yeah, it's good to see own goal back, having been a season away, I believe. I didn't think we had any own goals last season. And nice to see him back on the score sheet. Got to be one of our record goal scorers right now. Ashley, did you watch the match?
I did. I agree with all of the things he said. But also, Villarreal are no mugs. I believe they were in the Champions League final a couple of seasons ago. They're a well coached team, and we held them without any shots. And if mentality and defense are almost like the first default positions for Frank, then we pulled those off. Strong mentality and strong defense with a clean sheet. So good start to the campaign.
A clean sheet, I'd say we were a little bit lucky. I mean, they didn't have any shots on target, as I remember, but they certainly had a few shots that they should have done better with. So it was more, wastefulness from their side. Nick, you did a report on the game, right?
Yeah, like I said, I think in one of my videos that you need to start with a win. I think in the Champions League to keep a clean sheet. We were a little bit fortunate maybe with that. I think if you get that one in the first half where it came across to, I couldn't remember who it was, but it came across and he kind of put it wide. He should have probably put that at least on target, if not scored. But we weren't really particularly fluid, but it wasn't a particularly open game either. And I thought, at the end of the day, we got 3 points, you move on. We're probably never going to watch that one back, are we? Let's be honest.
No, it's not something I will be returning to. I think fluidity is something we're going to end up talking about for a little while this season until things kind of gel a bit more. Austin, what did you think of the game?
I only saw the second half of the Villarreal game, and to say I was disappointed. I was disappointed in the performance. I was happy with the results. I thought Bereval was absolutely superb. He's growing into a really top player. But I felt that we had a sort of slightly defensive attitude to it felt like there was defensive attitude to the game. And I came in and you see you winning 1-0. And when you're my age and you've watched Spurs for 60 years, you you have that pit in the stomach feeling that you think, oh God, this is going to go wrong. But it didn't, as it happened. So I watched it emotionally rather than analytically.
Yeah. It was a game we're not going to return to, as Nick says. We'll talk about it now very, very quickly. But genuinely, we got the points we wanted. It wasn't a great performance. We were impressed by some people, but generally it seemed to be like a standard day at the office and no one really put in too much work. We'll have better games. We'll have worse games as well, I'm sure, but we'll have better games in the future.
It was frustrating though we didn't build on the first goal. You're getting a leg up like that with a keeper making that howler. You thought you kind of might build on it and really go for the jugular and go for him, but we just never materialised, did it? Even in the second half, the subs we made were kind of like, keep it solid. Let's make sure we don't concede. Yeah, it's early days, but yeah, it wasn't really particularly inspiring.
Yeah, I kind of got my hopes up a bit when he flapped that first one and the ball went in, and I was like, okay, maybe we can make a bit more of this. But he was frustratingly reliable after that. He was actually pretty good. So, you know, it's not entirely down to us. We got to hope and pray that sometimes the opposition defence or defenders have a bad day, score an own goal, like against the Brighton game as well. Which let's move on to Brighton game. Probably the more interesting game this week. Certainly more goals, certainly a bit more action. I think a better team as well. I think Brighton are a very good team, and they beat us home and away last season. So for us to get a point in this wasn't actually too bad. I'm taking it as a positive. What's everybody else think?
I'm taking it as a negative. I thought that in the first half we played so much good football. Some of our movement in the first half was absolutely sublime. There were some really good moves that weren't finished off. So I expected to win the game. And even when we went 2-0 down, and we went 2-0 down against the run of play, I mean, they scored a breakaway goal, which was a nicely finished goal. Well, I thought Ramiro might have done better because he seemed to give up rather than trying to cover the keeper. And then the second goal was a bit of a fluke to score from that distance. But I still thought we'd win the game because I thought we'd played such good football and such incisive football that we'd probably win it. I was happy with the point in the end, but I wasn't happy really.
I think if I'd been offered a point at the start of the game, I would have absolutely taken it. So I'm okay with it. Hey, what were your thoughts?
So I thought we saw a step forward in terms of our attacking play, of how we wanted to play.
Absolutely.
I thought we were looking for the balance, and we're still looking for the balance between a solid defense and how we want to transition into a forward thinking team. I think that's partly to blame in the first goal. If I'm honest, there were a few things there that caught my attention that I thought that didn't make too much sense to me. We played a very high line to press the ball and as we were on the front foot. But if you look at it, we had Van der Ven pushing right up, and when we're playing with a high line, that took him out from, as our cover, our fastest player, not in a position to be to pick up if we did get caught on the break, and that's what happened. I think if you had it the other way around with somebody else pushing up on the man and Van der Ven being the last man, it would have been a different scenario. He would have caught up with Minter, put him under pressure. Vic wouldn't have to come out so far. So I think there was a lot of promising things in the game, and that first period we dominated, but they caught us while we were still adapting or trying to find our right balance. So that was one thing. The second goal, I think a bit of comedy of errors. We had a man down, we win the ball, and I think at that point, Bereval's young man, but in the future he would learn. We've got the ball at that point. Just walk it off over the touchline. At that point, you take the sting out of the game. We got a man down. We get back in position. They probably throw the ball back to us. because we took the ball out for an injury, and you don't get that scenario. And then after that, obviously, I think Vic was quite weak in stopping that. That should have been stopped. Otherwise, I thought it was a very promising performance. There's a big difference when we have a 10. I can fully understand why he didn't start him. We've been complaining a lot about the overuse of our players and building up their minutes and causing injuries later in the season. With the busy week still coming up and having played a few games, I think it was pretty wise to take care of him. But you could see the difference as a creative player came on. Just makes me wish we still had Decky and Madison fit. That's what we need. We need the rest of the squad to pitch up. But yeah, otherwise, I thought it was a decent game and a big step forward.
Yeah, we played a very, very high line. I mean, people talked about Angie's high line, but Angie's high line tended to stop at the halfway line. There was one point we were 10 or 15 yards into Brighton's
super
half,
aggressive.
and we were still pushing. It's massively, it was crazy almost. But yeah, Nick, what did you think of the game?
I've really enjoyed it despite us not winning, because I felt like in possession was by far the best I've seen us look. Like, we were fluid, we looked much more, we had a much better tempo, we moved the ball quicker. Like Austin said, we looked a lot more slick, and I loved the aggression, the way we were pressing. Obviously, I think like A said, that we've got to find that balance between getting sucker punched on the counter, because all the top sides have to find that balance over time, because it's just a trade-off if you're going to play that high up the pitch and be aggressive. And personally, that's the kind of football I want to see. I want to see us kind of get on top of teams and really force the issue. What I said about the high line as well with Van der Ven, I actually noticed. I don't know if you remember the Man City game. The match of the day highlighted when Van der Ven and Romero both pressed really high up, and both fullbacks were the only people defending for us. And the same thing happened in this match, except Brighton kind of got out, and so we had Udogie and Porro defending with a massive gap between them. And it happened back 3 times. I've counted twice so far in my analysis, but that's obviously something I think they've got to work on, this spacing and positioning. But overall, like, particularly when Xavi came on, I just kind of got that, you get that feeling when your team looks like a proper team, like proper team, top team. I got that feeling when Xavi was playing that spell second half. I just thought, oh, we look really good now. Yeah, so I'm really encouraged by that, because I think the possession stuff has worried me a little bit.
Yeah, we're definitely going to talk about Xavi later, because I thought he came on and did an extremely good job. But before then, let's hear Ashley's thoughts.
Just one quick thing on their goal, and Oz will remember this. There, Minte was it? He actually instead of blasting the ball, he did what Greavesy used to do, which was dip his shoulder, just basically walk the ball into the net. And it was just wonderful to see that sort of composure by any player, regardless of being the opponent. Yeah, Xavi definitely made a difference. But did you notice that Bereval was actually in the 10 in the first half, and he made some changes. I think Van der Ven, they pulled back the high line a bit, and then Bereval, when Xavi came on, moved into the 8, and I think that was a good position for him, because he is actually also good defensively. So we can actually take advantage of him, not just being at the 10, but being at the 8, where he can play a little bit of defense and also create. So I know, as somebody else said, this is a long season, a squad game. We've got to play all these guys. We can't wear them down. So it's interesting to see Xavi in the 10, and he might go back out to the left in the next game. So we don't know. A lot of flexibility there.
I thought it was quite interesting that we made some changes. I did a little pre-game prediction of the team I wanted to see, and I wanted to have Xavi starting the match with Odebear on the left and with Udogie as well. And I was quite happy when the team came out with almost all of them right, apart from the fact that Bentancur was playing in Xavi's position or instead of his place. But when Xavi came on, I thought we suddenly looked a really, really good team. I think we would have looked better if Richarlison had felt a bit more into it. He didn't look right. He took a few knocks. He didn't look as though he was his quite so effervescent self. I mean, he put himself about and got a goal, but I didn't think he looked as good as he has done in previous matches. I think at times like that, we need to have an alternative option. And I know Kolo Muani's got a dead leg, and we're still waiting for Solanke to get back to full fitness. So we're kind of relying on Richarlison right now. It's either that or Dane Scarlett, and I like Dane Scarlett. Or
Tell.
Tell, yeah. Yeah, true. True. Yeah.
He did start one game there. Yeah.
Yeah, he started directly after he got left out the Champions League squad, didn't he? So yeah. Okay, so the highlight we've already talked about.
Point, Stu, with regards to Richarlison, he gets nothing. He can be flattened, he can be pushed, he can be elbowed, he can be barged, he can be kicked. He gets nothing from the referees.
Oh yeah, the referee again wasn't great.
No.
To put it mildly, the refereeing team was not great. He got kicked and pushed. In fact, I thought Brighton were a very physical team. They've got a team full of 6-footers.
Yesterday, the Brighton were really dirty, and they were going down the minute they were touched, and they were fouling us, and the ref gave us absolutely nothing. I've got
Kudus. They went down. Kudus was in the box, and we were...
Yeah.
Sorry, Nick.
Go on, Nick.
Kudus was in the box. Kudus was in on goal, like first half. He didn't even touch the guy. And Van Heck, I think it was, just dropped to the floor, got a free kick. And I was going crazy at the TV. I was like, what?
Yeah, that was ridiculous. That wasn't even touched.
Yeah.
And when it went the other way with Xavi going through and he got a little touch and he went down, nothing was given. You're like, come on. It just didn't seem very even. But this is the way it is. We're used to this by now, aren't we? I mean, this is probably just us. Was it positive bias? We remember the things that go against us, and the times it goes for us, we don't remember that quite so much. But,
in fairness, I didn't think the Xavi one was a penalty, but when I looked at it again,
I agree.
Slipped. But I think he went down very easily.
Yeah, I don't think he was looking to stay on his feet. Let's just put it that way.
Just a side note about referees. That referee in the Champions League game, I know there are people complaining about our English referees, but that guy wasn't good either. So it could be a general thing that referees are just not that great. They're kind of mediocre, maybe. Listen, they're on a hiding to nothing. How would you like to be a referee in today's game with millionaire athletes, berating you and the managers berating you? It isn't an easy gig, let's face it, but they are kind of mediocre.
Yeah,
I think
it's not an easy job, certainly.
What's
VAR's
that?
definitely made it worse. VAR has taken
VAR's made it worse.
Yeah.
VAR's taken the desire to want to be right away from the referees because they think, I've got a backup, because if I've made a mistake, then the VAR will pull it back. But then VAR apparently also wants to back the referee at almost all times, unless it's so obviously wrong that there's no way around it. And even sometimes they still make a mistake. I'm still waiting for our apology from the West Ham game, was it? West Ham. We should have had at least 2 decisions go the other way. I'm waiting for our apology. I'm guessing we're not going to get one because we won the match. So what can you do? What did we think about the change with Odegaard down the left with Udogie coming on? I thought Udogie was really good. I thought he was
the best player.
Yeah, I think he was definitely in the conversation for man of the match. I didn't get to watch it until today. I didn't get to see it live, so I watched it on replay today. Watching the first half, I was like, oh well, Udogie is man of the match. And then as the game went on, when Xavi came on, I thought Xavi was a more highlights player. He definitely caught the eye a lot more. In fact, just when he came on, the team as a whole caught the eye a lot more. But I thought overall, my man of the match would be Palhinha, who was just very, very effective throughout the entire game. He was winning the ball high up, which was something he struggled to do when he was at Bayern, but he was also tracking back and providing really good defence to our midfielders as well. And at the end of the day, he would be my choice for man of the match.
I tell you,
Austin wants to jump on and tell me I'm wrong.
That man makes sliding tackles. And when you see people making sliding tackles in the Premiership nowadays, a lot of them are bookings. They miss the ball, they take the player out. Paulinho, the timing of his sliding tackles is absolutely fantastic. He rarely fails with one. And you come in and you look at it and you think, oh, fuck. And then you think, oh, he got the ball. That's fine. Brilliant. He's superb.
Yeah, he's an extremely
I
good, experienced player.
I thought a few times on the counter that he got caught too high up the pitch, but I think it was a consequence of the way we were trying to press rather than an individual error, if you see what I mean. I think where we were trying to be so aggressive, he was, for me, too high up. So when they countered, there was there was too much space ahead of the centre backs. But that was, I think, as a result of pressing. But he did play quite well. And I think having Bergvall next to him when he went deeper made a massive difference to the way it mitigated his weaknesses on the ball as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. By the way, nobody's mentioned Sarr got dropped, and he's been one of our better players all season. So that is an issue, actually. Where obviously that's exactly, but that is an issue if we are to play Xavi in the 10. One of those two guys, either Bereval or Sarr, will not be playing. So I see what Frank is trying to do. He wants to fit them all in and get Xavi on the left wing, but it does put an pressure on who do we play, who do we drop, who do we rest, who do we bench. Not bench in a negative way, but
Yeah, I think Xavi was rested. I think Sarr was rested or rotated out of the squad for this one. And I think Spence as well. Spence has been solid throughout the season. Yeah. I think Frank wanted to look and see what Udogie can do because he's been slowly building up his fitness and everything like that. And it was about time. And I thought he did a really good job and provided really nice balance. Hey, what did you think?
Yeah, I thought I liked the balance of the team. My subs would have been slightly different, but can't nitpick. I would have either left Odegaard on or brought Tell on for Odegaard and to play him on the wing. And if it was a point where we really felt the 3 points were there for us, I would have put Johnson next to Richarlison and sacrificed the midfielder. If we were really, really going for it, because I think Johnson's a bit wasted out on the wing, but he is a goal scorer, and I can see why I brought him on. I would like to see what he does as the second striker. Little and large combo. A lot of pace, eye for goal, hardly ever offside, very direct. And I think that would be a better use for him. But I think we lost a bit when we took Odegaard out on that side. I've seen a few reports and people a bit harsh on Odegaard, but I thought he did okay. Not fantastic, but he was good. He gave us good balance. And yeah.
You make a good point. You make a great point about Johnson. What do we do with him? Our top goal scorer, and he's not starting every game. He might have only started one game so far. So that's kind of a good option, of possibly playing him as a second striker. How do we get him? He's not going to replace Kudus. So where do we play him? Where do we play our top goal scorer?
When do we rest Kudus?
Resting Kudus is probably going to be an issue. But then if you do rest Kudus, then you've got last season's top scorer to bring in. That's not a bad situation to have. For me, I don't think Johnson is as good on the left. It should kind of work out for him because he tends to drift into the middle and score goals, but he just doesn't seem to be quite as effective when he plays out on that side. So I think him and Kudus will be rotating at times. Like you say, I wouldn't mind seeing him as a second striker, and I think there will be times this season where we do play 4-4-2 because, Thomas Frank does like to change things up, and, at some point we'll probably play that. Maybe against Dagenham in the Cup. We'll see.
Doncaster.
Yeah, that's a, yeah. Ajay's at Doncaster, isn't he? So
I
might be
believe-
playing him.
yes, I think he is. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I think he is. He
he
can't.
may be able to play. He can't play against us.
Can he play? I don't think you can't in the league. I don't think you can in domestically. You can in Champions League and stuff, but you can't domestically.
I think
Yeah,
he
Nick's
needs
got
a
it right.
permission from the club. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah. Anyway, okay. Well, that's fine because he's been a bit of a goal threat for them this season.
On the Odebear thing, I thought his link up and understanding with Udogie like really opened up that left side of the pitch for us compared to in previous games. Like I felt like because we had Kudus, especially when Xavi came on, we had like the whole width of the pitch was accessible and we could build up throughout the whole pitch, and that just really took us up a level. And I agree that when Odebear came off, I felt we lost quite a lot actually because whilst he needs a bit more self-belief and aggression in himself to attack. I think attack teams more and really say I'm the man. His neat and tidy. His technical ability is way better than a lot of our players, and so he was able to take the ball in tight spaces, link up with Udogie, play it back to him, give and go. And I just felt like that side of the pitch looked much stronger as a result of Udogie's natural kind of left-footedness and Odebear's technical link up. It was quite encouraging.
Yeah, and I think that also gives us a little bit more space on the other wing. I think in times everybody knows that the threat is on Kudus' side and nothing much on the other side. And even that little bit that he offered, they couldn't push up on the side of the pitch fully, and that gave him Kudus some space, I think, extra space.
Yep.
Austin, you were going to jump in with something. What you got to say?
I was just going to say, I think in Snoop Dogg and Jed Spence, we've got the two best fullbacks in the league. I think they are both absolutely superb. And I don't think we've seen the best of them yet. Spence is getting better and better. But Udogie yesterday I thought was superb. But whilst on that, we've got Tel, Kolo Muani, we've got Odebear. We've got some young players. And I think we're a year away from being a really, really good team without adding extra. Yes, we probably will add extra players in. But I'm like genuinely the most excited I've been for a long time, probably since the early Dele Alli, Harry Kane, Christian Eriksen team of Poch. I think I'm the most excited about the potential of this team. I think it's just knitting together. Frank has only been here half a dozen games. I'm more excited now than I've been for ages with some of our players.
Well
Yeah,
said.
we've got an incredibly young side in reality. I mean, if you look at the players who are 22 and under, so you've got the obvious Tel, Odebear, Bereval, Gray. Udogie's only just slightly over that. I think he's like 24 now.
No, I think he's younger. I think Udogie's 22, 23 still, I think. Possibly. Yeah.
Lukovic.
Stars.
Yeah. You know, we got some real quality players
and
there.
Bankshanks is playing really well as well on his spell.
Xavi's 22.
Sorry, who's 22?
Xavi's 22.
Yeah, Xavi's 22.
Oh, wow.
You know, we've got so many options. It's so good. And then you just look a little bit above that. Kuda's only just turned 25. You know, he's got years ahead of him as long as he doesn't, pick up a major injury, touch wood. But we've got a young team effectively, and we've got young players as well out on loan doing really well, showing what they can do. I mean, just this weekend, we've had George Abbott score a brilliant goal. We've had Tyrese Hall score a double. We had Luka Vuskovic score a ball that got smacked so hard it nearly broke the net for Hamburg.
Divine scored a beauty.
Yeah, I haven't seen the Divine one yet, but I'm told it's almost as good as the Need slide that followed it up. So, yeah. And then you look into our youth ranks as well. I mean, our under-21s, we've got a 16-year-old player, Luca Williams-Barnett, who every time I watch him just does something really nice. I mean, if any of you get the chance to watch the highlights from the Sevilla game, his last goal on that one, he basically rolls his foot over the top of the ball, sits the goalkeeper down, and just knocks it in. You're like, how do you manage to do that at his age? He's so good with the ball. And Mikey Moore as well.
I've watched him a few times, and I like him, but I've still got my reservations about him.
Luca Williams-Barnett. My main concern is he can be a little bit slack with his passing sometimes.
Yes,
but I will also take that and weigh it up against someone that can score goals from the halfway line on a fairly regular basis. So which one do we want more?
He reminds me of Cole Palmer. He plays like Cole Palmer, I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
Hey,
think
what
it's
you got to
Um, while we're talking about younger players, and it's no coincidence that the two younger players that are shining are the two that played a lot last year,
Yeah.
Bereval and Sa. And Sa's played a lot in the last 2 years, and now you're seeing the benefit of it. Odegaard, they haven't had enough games for us. We're seeing them in the early stages of their development and with the new coaching structure. So I think, I think it's highly possible that very soon, given that they get given the opportunities, we'll be talking about them in the same way that we're talking about Bereval and Sa. They're talented players, and they just need a little bit of time. And maybe it's a good thing that we're in this development phase where most reasonable Spurs fans know that this is part of the process, and it's they'll be part of this process. So you're going to see them develop as well, same way that the young players developed under Poch. I see a lot of similarities in the way our squad is developing. Really great fullbacks, two solid centre backs. One's aggressive, one's extremely quick, good passing range. Now we've got creative players. But when they come back, we'll have a plethora of creative players to look at, decent wingers. The only thing we're missing is that really clinical striker. So there's a lot of parallels, and people need to be patient with them. It will come. The good thing is you can see step by step, slowly by slowly, that these things are very systematically being put into place and coached into them. And I think that's the most encouraging thing for me. There's a real systematic way of doing this, a really organized, well thought out way of doing it, including the rotation. This is the first time that this manager is having to play 3 games a week, first time in the Champions League. And he's already showed a willingness to learn and to be proactive. Start resting players from now so their minutes are not, too heavy later on when the fatigue and things like that come in, where you get injuries, but also where you drop performance. So I think we'll see the benefits of this in the run-in, not now, and that would be a nice change.
Let's talk very, very quickly about Thomas Frank. This is a guy who we were told tends to make a slow start at his clubs. He lost his first 9 in Denmark. He lost 8 out of his first 10 when he was at Brentford. And yet he's come to Spurs, and we are 3rd in the league. And we don't look particularly out of place for doing that. Yes, we've had a slightly easier schedule than some other clubs. But at the same time, we have played Manchester City. Away. Brighton are not an easy side. There will be a lot of sides that go to Brighton and stumble this year. Bournemouth, who we did lose to, are going to do the same. So I think he's made a very good start. I think he's got us playing decent, solid football. I'm still waiting for those attacking movements and everything's to be dialed in, but I'm pretty sure that'll come. We've seen it before with managers. He wants to come in. He wants to get that defensive side of things solid first. Be hard to beat first, and then you can actually bolt on the other stuff.
How nice would it be if this was actually his slow start? What are we in for if this is his slow start? That would be a dream.
Yeah, please. That'd be lovely.
I'll take it.
Absolutely.
I think his rotation's been like probably the best I've ever seen from a Spurs manager so far. It's obviously a very small sample size, but I've been waiting and waiting years for a manager to just make 2 or 3 changes at a time, different players here and there to keep things fresh and keep the team feeling kind of consistent and cohesive. And like the Brighton game, a few tweaks, and we can moan about Xavi not starting. But as I said, like he's trying to manage the whole season and a lot of games. So I actually am really impressed with the rotation so far, and long may it continue.
I'm impressed with his game management, because when you watch him during the course of a game, he's constantly making notes. He's constantly giving instructions to people. He's constantly changing things or trying to improve things. He just seems to be on the ball during the course of a match. And I think we've got the best manager we've had for years. I think we've got the best manager we've had since Terry Venables. And that includes
Ooh,
Wow.
that's,
Okay.
that's a high bar. One thing I was impressed by is we managed to get back into this game. Normally 2-0 down, we lose the game. This was the first time in 15 months that we have come back
Really?
from being 2 down to get anything from the game whatsoever. 15 months.
As the
crazy.
oldest member here, I expected to lose that game at one stage. Then I thought, no, we're going to win this. I genuinely believed that we'd win it. Once we got the goal back, I thought we're going to win this.
I thought so as well.
We had the
I just
opportunities.
thought the quality of our play until the last 5 or 10 minutes when that Brighton came back again. I thought we were going to win that.
I think the change with Johnson didn't help us there because he kept losing the ball. He wasn't coming towards the ball to help Udogie play out when they started to put us under a bit more pressure. And so he just started turning the ball over constantly. We had no outlet there, which made it a lot harder for us to then try and get back at them. But even then, could have said that deflected shot. And I thought for a split second that was gonna drop in.
Yeah.
I think what you're seeing is the trust in the system and in the way you're playing. You may be 2-0 down on the scoreboard, but the state of play showed something else. And we just had good trust in that. And that, we spoke a lot about our players got to buy into this system and that system and give it in. This is the ultimate proof of players buying into something. If you ask me anyway, but yeah, so I think it's encouraging. I like Frank.
The calmness. I thought we looked calm trying to get back in the game second half. We didn't look like we panicked. We kept going, kept playing our football. It didn't look like we were, 80th minute, we still haven't it. We just kept going. And I was really impressed with that.
Yeah, no, I was impressed with our attitude throughout the game, really. As I said, I didn't watch it live. I think watching it, having already known what the result was, kind of takes a bit of the pressure off. Certainly made me feel a bit better, but it was still nice to see the goals go in when they did. But I mean, again, we can't take anything away from Brighton. They are a very good team, and I think they will impress people throughout this year.
And we'd played midweek, and they didn't.
Yeah,
That's another big thing. We played Champions League, a tough Champions League game, and we still started super fast and super aggressive. That's why one of the reasons I was so happy. I just love the way we started the game.
I've got to mention Pedro Porro because someone in the match thing said, "Oh God, Mitoma against Pedro Porro, that's got to be a nightmare or whatever." And I actually think Pedro Porro has developed into a much better defender. His timing, his stickability. He's actually a very, very good player. I really like the guy.
A said earlier that we've got the 2 best fullbacks in the league, and he named Spence and Udogie.
No, I think said that was me.
Was it you? I thought it was A. Okay, well, I think we've got the 2 best fullbacks in the league, regardless of who's on the right or who's on the left, because it could be Spence, it could be Porro, it could be Udogie. Again, it could be Spence playing on the left as well. It's almost a horses for courses type situation. I think Spence is excellent. I prefer having Udogie there because I think he gives us a bit more balance. I think it's particularly harsh on Spence to not play after the way he's been playing recently, but I think he just gives us that balance. But Porro's such a good right back now, going forward and defending. He very rarely gets caught out. No, very few people go past him. It's very difficult to say who your starting 2 would be out of 3.
Quite like to see Udogie and Spence at times as well. The athleticism, it would remind me a bit of Rosen-Walker under Poch. I feel like you'd get that kind of thrust and the ability to recover quickly as well. So that would be interesting to watch, I think.
Maybe on Wednesday, if you give Porro a rest because he plays all the games.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some changes for Wednesday. Hey, what do you think?
I think Porro's critical for us because of his ability to make from the back, those passes. When you've got Palhinha in there and he has a specific function, but he's not the most progressive passer, we rely on Romero and especially Romero and Porro to make those incisive passes from the back. That kind of mitigates against our lack of those options, if you like, in the midfield. So I think that's why you see Porro in almost every game. I do like that he has taken him off a few times with 10, 15 minutes to go, where we're looking to shut things down. Then you've got Udogie and Spence, and that's fine. They're both athletic and brilliant. So that's my take on it. But three very good fullbacks, excellent fullbacks. I really love Porro. I think Porro is a extremely fitness conscious guy, even for football players. And I think when you do the science behind it, and they probably looking at the minutes and the fatigue, and when people fatigue, that's they wear those over shoulder holders that give them all the data. I think my suspicion is that if you look at that, you'll see that Porro is the fittest guy, and he can take the most minutes, and that's why they keep him on. I would think so. Yeah, but it was notable that we did run him into the ground last season. He did before the injury. He definitely started dropping off, and when he came back, the rest did him good, and he was good again. So yeah, three very talented fullbacks, and if we can get one more to assist, it would be phenomenal. Or we don't need to. We change formation because we have those options now. So let's see what happens.
Hey, one guy.
Oh, sorry.
One guy who I'm sorry. One guy who has played at fullback, and we haven't mentioned it all during this podcast. And he played a lot of games last year. Gray, and maybe he'll start on Wednesday. What do you think is planned for Gray? Should we, if he's not going to be starting or playing much, should we be loaning him out? What do we do with Gray? He can also play fullback, of course, which he has.
I think we need to look at Wednesday and see who we're going to play in the team. I think there's scope for a little bit more rotation. You know, Nick was saying he's very happy to see a Premier League manager or a Tottenham manager who is happy to move 2 or 3 players out of the team at a time. I think we're going to see some of the players that came in for this game stay in. So I think we'll see Udogie start again. I think we'll see Odebear start again. And I think we'll see some other players move in as well. So I would not be surprised if we have a Spence Udogie fullback pairing. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Danso start this game. And I think, for me, I would be playing Gray ahead of Palhinha against Doncaster Rovers.
I think Gray is going to end up as an attacking midfielder. I know Rex had a
Gray,
go. Rex had a go at me online the other day because he said, well, he's played left back, he's played right back, he's played centre half, he's played defensive midfielder. You want him as an attacking midfielder? I've watched this lad for 2 years. He is going to be an attacking midfielder. He's brilliant. He's like Bereval. There is not much difference between those two. He is going to be a fabulous attacking player.
Yeah, but will he get enough minutes? Will he get enough minutes in the role?
I've got no idea. I'm just saying the guy has got the talent, he's got the ball skills, and he's got the vision. And when he's played, when he's come on late, he's been on attacking runs into the inside left position. Sorry for the younger people, they don't know what an inside left is. He's made runs. He is going to be a great attacking midfielder. That's where he's going to finish up. But he's got the skills to play anywhere. He comes from a footballing dynasty. All his family were really good. But Archie Gray is a sublime player. He's going to be brilliant.
I think he'll end up a bit more of a sitter, but with the capability of driving forward, a bit like you see from Rodri occasionally. He makes those kind of drives with the ball. But I just think he's so calm, and I think he'll be such a clever player that he'll be that player that can sit there in midfield and just orchestrate the team, organise the team, know where to position himself, when to make a run forward, when to cover the defence. That's why I see him evolving in the next kind of few years. But I certainly think he could get goals by breaking from midfield. I do see that.
The only reason, I think you're right in some ways, Austin. I think he's got the capacity and the quality to be an attacking midfielder if he wanted to be, or probably more importantly, if we, the club, wanted him to do that. But the issue is we have Bereval, we have Sarr, we have Xavi, all of whom have this attacking bent towards them. They want to go forward and they want to get in positions. Whereas Gray has typically been a bit more of a defensive player, and I think we need to develop that side of things to balance the side out. Because if we continue to develop him as a player, as an attacking player, he's not going to get the minutes because he's going to be fighting for minutes against Xavi, Bereval, Luca, Williams-Barnett, hopefully maybe one day, Mikey Moore. You know, all of those players will be in contention for minutes in an attacking role, whereas Gray will get many, many more minutes playing a more defensive role.
Good
But
point.
I'll be
I
honest,
agree.
Ash, when you started going on about a player we haven't seen yet and we haven't talked about in this one, and you know, somebody who's played it for, I was absolutely sure you were going to say Ben Davis. Absolutely
Me too.
sure.
No, I thought, hey, Stuart, is Ben Davies Welsh by any chance?
He might be. Name like waiting with Davis, yeah.
Yeah, he might.
It's an IE, right?
He might
Stu,
start on. He might start on
oh,
Wednesday.
sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry about that. I think Archie Gray needs to go out on loan.
Ah, interesting.
I think Archie Gray needs to go on loan. He's dropped down the pecking order. He hasn't used or hasn't been afforded the opportunity in his favorite role because of his versatility, and it's counted against him. And the other two have progressed faster than him. I think he needs to go to a team like Brentford, and he needs to play and play often. You look at the likes of what's the guy's name? Is it Adam Scott?
Alex Scott.
Alex Scott,
Alex
the Bournemouth.
Scott.
Yeah, Bournemouth.
I at Bournemouth, you know, I could see a similar trajectory for him. Definitely a talented player. He had some great touches when he came on, laying the ball off for Kudus, and it looks like he's a little bit more confident, as if he's been told he's going to play midfield. And I think that trust has filtered through. So you're seeing a bits and pieces of him. I would like to see him have a proper full season somewhere where he plays a lot of games to build up, and we'll see the benefit of that later on.
I think he'll get a big.
the club.
Go on, sorry.
No, just that I think we need him at the club. I don't think we need him away from the club. He's such a good player in so many different positions. I think we need him there.
I think in December, Sar's going to go to AFCON for a month, and when he does, Gray's going to get a lot of game time because there'll be games coming thick and fast around that period, and Sar will be missing for potentially, I think it's like 5 weeks, maybe 5 weeks or so. And I would imagine Senegal will go quite far. So I think
Nick.
Gray will have a chance to establish himself, and I mean, it's great, isn't it great having all these different players in deeper in midfield and thinking who are we actually going to play and not being that worried when a certain player comes in. You're like, well, actually, I like Gray, or I like Star, I like Perfect. Yeah, do you know, it's great.
I think we've got a very likable team as well. Go on, Ashley.
No, I was just going to ask Nick, if are there any other players? Kudus, what country does he play for?
Ghana, but they didn't qualify.
Ghana didn't make it.
Amazingly, they didn't make it. It's quite a big shock that they didn't make it.
So he's not going.
I'm happy with that though.
So it's just Sarr and Basuma, but obviously Basuma's kind of being phased out anyway.
He's still collecting his check.
Yeah.
Which is fair enough. You know, you don't expect the guy to work for free, do you? He's there, he's training, he's making himself available. Just because the manager's not picking him or we haven't sold him off to Turkey yet. Apparently a deal to Turkey fell through. So has the Saudi window closed yet? We need to sell a club. We need to sell a player to Saudi.
23rd, I think it is, something like that. It's 21st, 22nd, 23rd. So,
2 more days.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to go.
I actually won't. Do you think he might play against Doncaster?
No.
No. I think it'll be Gray. I think the fact that Gray came on gives him an option to play.
No, I think Frank says that he's not ready to start. He's just got on the grass, so he's still recovering from the knee injury. Yeah. But he did leave the door.
It's not an injury, is it?
No.
Yeah, a Savinho injury.
You are so cynical
perhaps.
for what's
Savinho, yeah.
Could be.
All right. Okay, gents. I will open up the door to any further points before we close this down. I guess anybody got anything to say? Put your hand up. Let me know.
What about predictions for lineup for Wednesday? Will Kinski come in?
Yeah, I think so.
Will
Could be.
Davis start with Danso?
Davis is getting over an injury, so
Yeah, I thought he would. And then,
tweaked an ankle
yeah.
or something. Davis tweaked an ankle. Kalamawani had a dead leg. Apparently, they will be available for Wednesday, but I doubt they'll start. Maybe Kalamawani will start because we could probably do with. I liked him when he came on for his little brief cameo against Villarreal. I thought
he's a good player. He was really short of fitness, but he's a really good player. And the link up between him and Xavi, I don't remember the second half against Brighton, that little slide pass Xavi played inside left to Richarlison. It was a really tame effort. If he feeds Moani that kind of pass, we're going to be cooking because he's quick and he'll get in behind teams. I think he'll be more dangerous in those kind of spaces than Richarlison is. So
and they have a rapport already.
Yeah, I think they'll have a good link up. And Odobert and Xavi also have a previous rapport as well from playing in PSG Academy.
Yeah, they both played in the same youth team.
Yeah,
played something like 15 times.
Very young Thierry Henry.
You are not allowed to say that on this.
Well, I've said it, and I'm the oldest here, so I'm entitled to say it.
You can say Terry Henry.
Terry Henry, all right, Terry Henry.
Yeah,
but he glides with the ball. And Terry Henry used to glide with the ball. And I haven't seen enough of him to make any further comparisons. But I was genuinely reminded of Terry Henry when I saw Kolo Muani for that short burst.
He's got quick feet. He's got long strides, when he gets up to speed, he's really quick. He can sometimes look a little bit clumsy, but he'll still go past someone. And it's hard to explain, but when you see him do it, you'll know what I mean. You kind of think he's not going to go past him, and then he just does. So if we get him up to full fitness, I think he can really add a lot. I'm hoping so anyway, because he's definitely showed a lot for Frankfurt when he played there in particular.
Yeah.
And he didn't do too bad at Juventus last season either. So
no, it's true.
Yeah. So he did.
I did see an article about Will Lancashire coming back.
Back
in January.
I suspect if he comes back, it's so we move him up a level. But he's already in the Championship, isn't he, Oxford?
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Yes,
he is.
Yeah.
Unless they find a better club in the Championship, I can't see him.
If he's doing well, I think they'll keep him
there. Not today. I think he didn't have a good game today. But yeah.
I didn't see today's result.
I think they lost 3-1 or something. But yeah, he didn't have a great game. But no, I mean, he's a player I'm interested in following because he's very raw, but he absolutely loves to score goals. You could just see it when he scores. He lives for it.
Yeah, he does.
And somebody was talking about him 2 years ago, and they were saying even in training he's exactly the same. He will celebrate a goal in training as fervently as he would a game in a goal in a normal league game or something like that. So somebody who loves scoring like that can probably go a very long way.
There's one other youth player actually when you're talking about that has really caught my eye. It's Tynan Thompson.
Tynan Thompson. I thought you were going to say
that. The left guy. He's good.
I think he might. I think he might have it. I just the more I see him play, he's just got that. He's got the explosiveness and the acceleration. He can beat people both ways. He's got goals in him as well. I'm just thinking about he makes really good runs off of, because a lot of wingers are good at coming to feet, but they don't make great runs in behind. But he seems to have a nice kind of balance between attacking the box, and so I'm really excited to see how he develops because, like I said, I think he even featured in a friendly for the first team in pre-season. Then he got an assist.
He did
when he came on.
Reading,
and I think it was the one. It was the one at the training ground. I think it was the one at the training ground against. He's got a great link up with Luca Williams-Barnett.
He sees where to be so that people can actually link the ball to him. He's very good at that. He's intelligent.
We've got a real dilemma in balancing that we want to compete now at the highest level, but we also want to make sure we don't block pathways for what I think there's several players coming through who are probably at a much higher level than we've had in the academy for quite a long time. So it's going to be a real difficult balancing act as a club to get that right, I think.
Yeah, I think we could
do more homegrown players in our squad. So that would be good as opposed to just one and he's a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Well, next year things will change a little bit in terms of the European registration if we make it into Europe next season, of course, because Archie Gray and Lucas Bereval will count as under 21 players who have been at the club for more than 2 seasons, so they won't need to be named in the full squad. And then the year after that, they will have been at the club 3 seasons, so they'll be homegrown at club. So that will make a massive difference. We'll suddenly have 3 players that can be named, and probably 2 of them will start. You know, and other players coming through as well. You know, Mikey Moore, Luca Williams-Barnett, Tynan Thompson. You know, good players.
Vuskovic could count one day as well. One day if we keep him around, I think.
The problem with Vuskovic is we need to train him at the club.
How's he doing?
Not well.
Not well.
I mean, I've seen a couple of his games. One of them, they barely gave him the ball. The other one, they gave him the ball a lot more, and he looked a lot better. But it's a basket case up there. It's a horrible situation.
Best friend of mine is one of my best friends is a Rangers fan, and he absolutely despises Russell Martin and cannot wait to celebrate when he's gone. He says it's an absolute shambles. So
yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who they go for when they get rid of him, because they're going to have to look from abroad. I think again, I don't see them going for someone like Nuno Espirito Santo. He'll be the next West Ham manager. So Graham Potter can't last long. Maybe Graham Potter goes to Rangers because they love to take a failure from.
He'd probably be open to that. He manages. He likes managing other countries and stuff. He'd probably go for that. Yeah.
He'd probably do quite well there. In fairness.
Maybe they've had a lot of changeover in their squad the last couple of seasons. They've got a very young squad, and it's just not working out for Russell Martin. And apparently he's had a bit of a reprieve. People are going to give him a bit more time, but I don't see it working. I really don't.
The fans were throwing things on the pitch yesterday in protest.
Yeah.
After
But after 2 games, he was already saying the same kind of things he was saying at Southampton right before he got sacked. And you're like, mate, you got to get past the hard times before you can start saying those kind of things. You can't be saying those in week 3 of being in a club. So it's not going to work for you.
Yeah.
Okay, right. We are going to be back after the Wolverhampton game. So we'll be back on the 28th of September. We will be talking about Doncaster Rovers. We'll be talking about Wolves. And we'll be taking a look forward to a place we haven't been in a really long time. But a glimpse. Oh, no, we were there last season. All right. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. Nick, where can everybody find you?
On YouTube at Nick's Coy's Corner. So you can find me there. I'll get you to put the link in there. And I'm putting out match reviews regularly, and I'm hoping to expand the content in the near future as well. So keep an eye out for it.
Well, you're welcome back anytime. We do this on a fairly regular basis now, and we're getting okay at it. I'm not going to say we're good. We're getting okay at it. So, anyway, thank you, everybody. Please like, share, subscribe, all of the usual stuff. And until next time, come on, you Spurs.
Pundits just chuckle, ignore them alas. The CADS chat shit. To the left and the right, we're taking a hit, so you know it's true. Hear the banter ignite. Raise your voice loud, shout it out tonight. The CADS chat shit. We'll sing it again with a smile and a grin. Oh, here's to the boys, let's make it a trend. With a wink and a nudge, let the fun never end. Last week we claimed it'll be 5-0 for sure. Now we're debating if we'll score at the door. Did you see that last miss? What a fiery debate. As we pull up our chairs and we narrow our fates. Hot takes flying high, we're the kings of the pub. While the lads on the pitch just need a good rub. From the top of the table or right back to the ground, you'll hear us all chatting that familiar sound. The CADS chat shit. To the left and the right, we're taking a hit, so you know it's true. Hear the banter ignite. Raise your voice loud, shout it out. can never end. We'll argue with a passion like it's do or die, with half-baked logic and a mischievous eye. Trust me, mate,